There is a voice in your head reading these words right now. Not out loud, but you can hear it. It has a tone, a pace, it sounds like you. Now, here's what almost nobody knows. Not everyone has that voice. Researchers discovered that roughly 25 to 30% of people have no inner voice at all. No internal narration, no running commentary, complete silence inside their own minds. And when scientists first confirmed this, it changed everything we thought we knew about how humans think. Because if some people think without words, what exactly is the inner voice doing for the rest of us? The answer is one of the most fascinating things researchers have ever found inside the human brain. Let's start with what the inner voice actually is. Scientists call it inner speech or subvocalization, and for decades, researchers assumed everyone had it. Then in 2011, a psychologist named Russell Hurlburt at the University of Nevada ran a study that changed that assumption completely. He gave participants a device that beeped randomly throughout the day. Every time it beeped, participants had to write down exactly what was happening in their mind at that precise moment. What he found surprised everyone. Inner speech was present in only about 23% of the moments recorded. Not only did many people report having no inner voice at all, but even people who did have one weren't using it constantly. The voice comes and goes. It's not always running. So what is it actually doing when it shows up? Here's what researchers have confirmed. Your inner voice is your brain's tool for managing complexity. When a situation is simple, your brain handles it automatically without narration. You don't need a voice to tie your shoes or walk down a familiar street. But when a situation requires planning, reasoning, or emotional regulation, the voice activates. Think about the last time you had a difficult decision to make. Chances are you heard yourself thinking through the options, weighing one side, then the other. That wasn't random. Your brain was using language to organize a problem too complex to handle automatically. Scientists call this the internalization of language. When you're a child, you think out loud. You narrate your actions, talk yourself through problems, and process emotions by speaking them. Over time, that external speech gets pulled inward. It becomes the voice you hear inside your head, which means your inner voice isn't separate from the language you learned as a child. It is that language, just running silently on the inside. And this explains something fascinating about people who have no inner voice. They still think, they still reason, they still make decisions. They just do it differently. Researchers found that people without inner speech tend to process information more visually and spatially. They think in images, feelings, and patterns rather than words. And here's the part that stops most people cold. Researchers discovered that when you use your inner voice, your throat moves. Not visibly, but at a microscopic level. The same tiny muscle movements involved in speaking out loud happen silently when you think in words. This is why some people mouth words when they read or think. Their subvocalization is slightly less suppressed than average. Even more remarkably, researchers found that deaf individuals who use sign language have an inner voice too. But theirs isn't verbal, it's gestural. Their internal monologue runs in sign language. Their hands don't move, but the motor regions of their brain associated with signing activate when they think. The brain found a way to internalize whatever language it learned first. Words for hearing people, signs for signers. The inner voice is just the brain talking to itself in the only language it knows. Now here's something most people have never considered. Your inner voice isn't always on your side. Research shows that the tone and content of your inner speech has a significant effect on your mood, your confidence, and your performance. People who narrate their own lives negatively, who have an inner voice that criticizes, doubts, and replays failures, show measurably higher levels of anxiety and lower performance on complex tasks. But here's what's interesting. Researchers found one simple technique that changes this almost immediately, using your own name instead of saying I. Instead of telling yourself, I can't do this, saying your own name, you can do this. Participants who used this technique showed significantly lower anxiety and higher performance in challenging situations. The slight psychological distance created by referring to yourself in the third person gives your brain room to evaluate the situation more clearly. Less like someone caught inside a problem, more like someone observing it from the outside. Your inner voice responds, to how you speak to it. And you have more control over that than you probably realize. So the next time you catch your inner voice running, pay attention to what it's actually saying. Is it helping you think through a problem, or is it just replaying something that already happened? Is it preparing you for what's ahead, or is it narrating a version of you that isn't accurate anymore? You've been listening to that voice your entire life. Most people never stop to question whether it's telling the truth, but it isn't always. It's just the first language you ever learned, running on the inside, waiting to be updated. Do you have a strong inner voice, or do you think more in images and feelings? Drop it in the comments. Subscribe to Whisper Files for more things your brain never told you.